Hello, this is Future Venia. I am actually coming to you outside of the confines of the workshop because as I was going through and editing the practical portion of the workshop, I had noticed that I was relying a lot on a lot of contextual cues that a large majority of the workshop recipients had, but that you didn't. The screen share for the majority of the implementation course, I didn't feel was satisfactory enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to re-record the implementation stage, but keep in mind, all of this coursework is made co-iteratively and we co-create all of this information. So right here down below, you can actually find the Discord community and you can interact and connect with them in order for us to help you build this social currency database in addition to the dashboards that we're looking to build. Let's go ahead and pop in and get started with implementation on building your 3 What's in It for Me dashboards to better measure your online community data and take control of that fire hose. All right, so we should now be looking at 2 documents, and I'm going to go ahead and put the link for these 2 documents up on the screen right now. Both of these links are short links. That means that over time, I'll be changing them anytime I make updates. So these links will always work and they will always go to the most up-to-date version of these documents. The first one is going to be the spreadsheet, and then the second one is going to be the dashboard. Now, what's really, really critical is your measurement muscle hasn't quite developed yet, right? Like this is a completely new way of measuring for you. So the purpose of this spreadsheet is entirely to help you understand that observation in that early portion of the social scientific process. So what we're doing here is we're essentially defining your terms, giving you a journal for you to put together all of your observations, and then providing a way for you to use the scope method of social science in order to find something that you think might be a little bit weird, and then systematically study that within your community. And for all of that process, we want to make it as easy, intuitive, and non-destructive on your day as possible. This spreadsheet, however, is totally upgradable and totally updatable to other tools and systems, more complex tools and systems that can accomplish way more than this possibly ever could. So the whole point of this spreadsheet is not for you to start using it as a data collection tool, but just to plan out, just to figure out what the strategy is for you using tools like Common Room or Orbit or Google Data Studio in order to actually report on your community. First, get good, then get better. So let's go ahead and get started. We have here an introduction page, which is going to go through effectively everything that we've already discussed, including the purpose of each individual column and row in each sheet that we have. We have here an introduction, and then we have several tabs: Setup Terms, Behavior Tracking Map, CM Field Journal, Sentiment Tracker, and then the Codex. And I'm going to level with you. The Codex is the strongest part of this entire thing. The way that the Codex works is it allows for the language and the definitions and the way that you understand your community to make its way into the face of an intern that you could hire at any point in time. And what that means is if you have a well-crafted Codex, you could ask team members who have never been involved with your community before to tag sentiment data, and it will actually come through looking pretty stable. The problem is you need to figure out how to actually define those terms. All you need to do here is just start with the scope. I want you to put down all of the different parts of your community that you have here. And there's quite a few different ways that you could view this. There are a lot of different ways to view scopes. I've told you mine, which is very much the socio-ecological model. There's also one from Orbit: observer, user, fan, ambassador. You've seen that throughout the course. There's also one from CMX, David Spinks and Carrie Melissa Jones. Lais de Oliveira also showed hers. And you also see one here from Common Room, which is contributors, influencers, pioneers, and members of interest. And once you've identified your various different scopes, you now understand the parts of the community that you need to measure. And now you need to compare that, like I said, with that scope. You need those membranes to be identified as well. So go to your marketing team and actually ask, how do you view the customer value journey? What steps do they take? And you'll see here that we have a few systems. There's tofu, mofu, and bofu, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. And then you can also see that I've organized this into the digital marketer customer value journey from aware all the way to promote. Once you've set this up and you've had this discussion and conversation, you have now accomplished the first section of implementing on the theory, which has always been figure out the scopes for your community and then outline the membranes that move people from a larger scope into a smaller scope. Once you've done that, we also need to know a little bit more technical information about your community itself. And this is largely going to be for Google Analytics. Your marketing team can definitely enlighten you on how this is going to work. But there's something called a platform source, which is just where is the community on? What domain or what website is it on? Are you on Facebook? Are you YouTube? Maybe your Discord? What is that going to be? And then get a slightly more specific. Even though it's on Twitter, there's 1,000 other things that people could do for Twitter. Is it a DM? Is it a standard tweet? Is it a story? Is it within the Twitter chat system? So for that, you'll need to put it underneath your channel medium across a variety of different setups. Lastly, I want you to talk about your line of business. This is the purpose of your community. And for a large majority of your community members, this could have to do with software, if you're a software as a service, or it could be your Twitch stream. What specific things are these individuals talking about? From that point forward, we have a hierarchy that we're going to be developing, and this hierarchy is not going to be something that you're going to know immediately. So what I'd like to do, we're going to pop back into that intersection, and you'll see here that we have a section for organizing your terms. We have here what I like to call a hierarchical tagging system, followed by a separate tag system. So we have a hierarchy of category to subcategory, and then into topic, and then tags. And what we're doing here is we're trying to create a system that is both fluid enough for you to be able to tag anything that you see in the data, but structural enough that when that data starts to coincide, you know that you need to change or speak the same language. So what you want to do is you just want to start by tagging your different data. We'll get to that here in a little bit with a variety of different tags. You want maybe 20 to 30 tags, and you want them to be cataloged and categorized based upon topic. So once you've identified your tags and they've gotten a little bit too big, you'll start to put them into larger topics. And your category is basically a bigger bucket. To make this make a little bit more sense, let's head back over to your Codex. And in the Codex, you'll see that we have a series of different tags that have a definition, an example of that tag, and then when to use it and when not to use it. Once you have a solid understanding of the tag's use, you can start to put it into a category and a subcategory. These are your levels of abstraction. But one thing you'll notice is that topics aren't here. Topics are going to be a completely separate hierarchical object that allows you to combine a variety of different tags that are coming together. And what this does is it allows you to create, one, a structured categorization process that allows you to abstract data, but also a topic system that lets you keep things very fluid. So if you're not really too sure where to put something, you can group it inside of the topic instead of selecting a specific category. I hope that makes sense, but what I can say is it's very, very, very similar to the WordPress system, the way that WordPress uses categories and tags. Categories are a hierarchical system, whereas tags allow you to connect data across different categories. For more on that information, you can check their video on how tags and categories work. That may help you better understand the difference between categories and topics here. Now, crucially, when you move on from this spreadsheet and you actually implement it in a more robust community intelligence platform, the community intelligence platform will do this for you. This is super, super critical, and it's one of the most important and resounding factors for why you need to get a community intelligence platform, because it's going to be able to count all of those values in a more automated fashion and automated way. But what's important, and the reason why this spreadsheet is so critical, is that it's showing you behind the curtain what the system is doing and how you actually want to measure your online community. That's the reason we're using the spreadsheet. It's meant for strategy and development. And even I, as an expert, will use this spreadsheet whenever I go into a new community in order to get a better understanding of the online community as a whole before I start making any big platform recommendations. Now we're going to move into the next section, which is going to be all about collecting the data, starting to catalog it, and starting to find the trends and patterns that will come out in this spreadsheet. And then after that, we're going to spend some time actually looking at the What's in it for me dashboards to, one, get you set up and then get you implemented.